Coming up next on Parent Connection, a conversation with Linda Barbour from the STAIR program. Welcome to Parent Connection. Today our guest is Linda Barbour from the STAIR program. Linda, I appreciate you coming today.
Thank you for having me to talk a little bit about STAIR. It's my passion.
Well, first tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I'm an avid reader, have always been, still have a lot of my childhood books. I was in finance, never thought about working with children, and then when I retired, I had been a tutor in the STAIR program for 12 years. And really enjoyed that time with the kids, and they had an opening for the executive director position, and so I took it and haven't regretted 1 minute.
Well, that's a big volunteer job, as we would say. Well, tell us a little bit, for our audience who doesn't know what STAIR stands for, what does that acronym stand for?
STAIR stands for Start the Adventure in Reading. And we've been in the Annapolis area for 12 years. We started out as a project of the First Presbyterian Church in Annapolis, and then for fundraising purposes, we became a 501c3 not-for-profit corporation. And we actually are affiliated with the original STAIR program, which is in New Orleans, and they've been in existence for 31 years now.
Wow.
And they have probably about 300 tutors and about 250 students. And we have about 150 tutors, and this year we're tutoring 74 students. We've graduated from the STAIR program over the last 12 years, 350 students.
Wow, that's amazing. So tell us about, what is the mission of STAIR?
We work with children, second graders principally, who are reading below grade level. We provide a caring and warm atmosphere for the children to come into so that they can learn that reading is fun and not scary. And we try to develop in each child a sense of strongness and sense of goodwill when they're reading, because they come to us afraid to read. We love our kids, and STAIR just is such fun for them because it's not like schoolwork, which is good too. It's more like having fun with books and being with a warm and caring human being who listens to them when they read.
Well, how did STAIR begin here?
We were concerned at our church, First Presbyterian Church, with the high school dropout rate at Annapolis High School. So we tried a brief program of trying to tutor and help troubled 16, 17, 18-year-olds. That didn't work very well because you need really good skills, special skills to do that. But at that time we had an associate pastor who knew about the STAIR program in Louisiana, and we connected with them, unfortunately, the same year as Katrina hit.
Oh, wow.
And all of their materials were underwater. And so we believed that as people, we could probably tutor second graders and do a pretty good job of it. So we started with a partnership with Annapolis Elementary School, and our first site was actually located at the Stanton Center in Annapolis. Okay. And we're still at the Stanton Center. We've been there a long time and are welcomed by Archie Trader and the other staff at the Stanton Center. We started with 9 students and 12 tutors. I was a substitute tutor at that time. And we have a slow growth policy because we don't want to start a site only to stop it.
No, I think that's so important. We always tell people when you're starting any kind of new program to start small and work out all the kinks.
Right.
Before you try to expand.
So we did that, and then we stayed in place for 4 years, and then we decided to develop a site at Robinwood Community Center because we met up with a teacher at Hillsmere Elementary who really, really believed in the children of Robinwood and understood that we needed to get people in there. It's a community just like any other Annapolis community. And so we've been at Robinwood for 7 years now. And from there, we branched out. As people began to hear about STAIR, we began to be invited to schools. And we normally start our sites fairly small, 6 students. Our largest site this year is Robinwood, which is 11 kids. And we're also at other local area elementary schools and also at Edgewater Elementary, Nantucket Elementary in Crofton, and Severn Elementary on Reese Road in Severn.
So you've really expanded a lot.
Yes.
During this time. Tell us if, for the student, what does a day look like in the STAIR program? What does it feel like for the student and for the mentor as well, the tutor?
So all the tutors, mentors, arrive. First of all, they all have to go through a 2-hour training session with me where we review techniques, STAIR materials. We use an educator-approved curriculum, how we use the books in the classroom, focus on sight words. They also have to have an Anne Arundel County Public School background check, and all of our coordinators are fingerprinted so that we're sure that everything is on the up and up. The students come to us via their reading teachers or their classroom teachers. So the teachers at the beginning of the year look through their student lists, especially at their Fontes and Pinnell reading assessment scores, and see the children who, with a hand up, could actually be reading at 2nd grade level. And that's our mission, because if you can read and read at level or above when you leave 2nd grade, then your slope is kind of upward facing. But in 3rd grade, you read to learn. And so if your skills are not good, so our kids come to us via their reading teachers. Parents sign a permission slip. Our sites run either Tuesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Wednesday. The students come either off the bus, they walk from school, or they're right in the school. And it's typical that the kids burst through the doors and look for their tutors. And the first few days, it isn't quite like that.
Right.
Because everybody's a little shy. But we have some stuff that we do in the beginning, tell me about you, and getting acquainted stuff. Children arrive, every child gets a snack, healthy, and we read to the student. So the tutor reads to the student. Every student is tutored one-on-one, same tutor or pair of tutors all year long, and it's free. And so we feel that reading to the student is really, really important because it models how reading happens. And the tutors also show their enjoyment of the story and, gosh, what's going to happen on the next page? And oh, look at these beautiful pictures. Then we start work on the curriculum, and we have 8 different levels of curriculum. So we try, based on talking to the reading teachers and the Fontes and Pinnell assessments, where in that string of curriculum we will put them. We don't make it hard because STAIR is going to be fun, and we do a lot of review work to support what's happening in the classroom.
Well, I think that's really important because lots of times when you hear programs like that, they're operating separately from the school or totally independent. And the difference with STAIR is really that you coordinate everything through the school, through the reading teachers and the classroom teacher. So it is important that the students, the transition is just seamless for students.
Yes, and we get a lot of good, so the teachers are very thoughtful about the information they give us, but so they don't share secrets, but they do tell us about the students, a little short bio of how it's best for us to work with them. And then during the year, we try to meet with the reading teachers, and we certainly invite them to all of our celebrations that we do, which are 3 a year. But so we work on curriculum. So We try to keep most of the exercises that we do in STAIR fitting the age of the student, because most of the time a 7-year-old only has about 7 minutes of attention span.
Right.
Plus it's after school. So we try to keep short snippets, so snack, read to them, work on curriculum. As a part of the curriculum, there are actually 7 or 8 steps. One is to review sight words. Sight words or high frequency words are the words that basically make up about 65% of anything that
Right.
anybody reads in the United States today. So we have word banks, which are just individual 3x5 cards that have the sight words and high frequency words on them. And we do a review, you know, flipping the cards or playing concentration with them. So we focus on sight words because we figure if the kids know all the sight words, they're 100% ahead of the game.
Right.
We do some fluency work. We do exercises where the children read to us. We work on A-E-I-O-U and how they connect with the consonants so that we can make words. So we review all that. And then at the end of the session, never before, we do reading games. And we have all different kinds. We have some STAIR-made games that we do.
Right.
One is called Ants in Your Pants, and we have them for long and short vowels. And you match the ants up with their words on their into pants that have A-E-I-O-U. So cap goes for short vowel with the A. And then the session is over. We normally once we all get familiar with each other, we let the children call 5-minute warnings so they know to close up their stuff. And then the kids are out and we close up our materials and come back the next time.
Well, talk to me a little bit about, you talked about getting information from the teachers and that being shared with you. Is parent permission required for this program? How do parents get involved and what's their role?
Yes, and many thanks to all of the staff in the schools where we work and at the community centers where we work. Yes, parents are provided with permission slips. We have both Spanish and English permission slips.
Mm-hmm.
They must agree or tell us if they don't want the child photographed, because we do photograph the kids. They must tell us what we should do in medical emergencies. They give us permission to see the grades and the reading scores, just for reading though, not anything else.
Right.
We don't need math or anything. And typically what happens is we give those permission slips to the teachers, and the teachers are the ones that contact the parents and tell them about STAIR.
Okay.
Because we want that connection, we want that buy-in.
Right.
And then the parent signs. Most of the time the parents are responsible for coming to the schools to pick up the kids. We always invite them in to sit and see what's happening. And so yes, the parents do have to give permission, and STAIR runs all year long, all school year long.
So that's really important too, because a lot of programs don't run the whole school year. They might be a 6-week or an 8-week program or something like that, but the importance of that relationship that you've built with the child.
Yes.
Also, I'm sure it's what drives them to make sure they're always there for their STAIR program.
Yes, our absentee rate is pretty low, and we just learn to know and really care about the kids, and they become really good friends with their tutors. So the end of STAIR, when we have our graduation parties, is some kind of a little misty because we're saying goodbye, but we say we're not saying goodbye, because in 3rd grade you can come back and read to the other 2nd grade children.
Which is wonderful. That's a great way to keep them engaged in reading.
Right. In fact, we're talking about, for the first time ever, trying to do some STAIR reunions toward the end of the school year to see how many kids we can bring into each site, if they're still there, to kind of say hi and meet the tutors.
Well, that's exciting. Tell us how tutors are chosen and what that looks like, what their requirements are.
In the beginning, most of the tutors, because this was a project of the First Presbyterian Church, came from the Presbyterian Church.
Right.
Now it's about 50-50. So word of mouth is the most important. Our tutors go back out to their book clubs, to their communities, to their knitting groups, wherever, and they say, this is a fabulous program. Come and join us. You would be great for this program. We advertise in the volunteer column of the Capital Gazette newspapers.
Right.
We're registered with the Anne Arundel County Volunteer Center. And we make a habit of going out and talking to other groups to tell them what we do. We talk to churches, we talk to civic groups, Rotaries. All of the
Right.
Rotaries are really good friends. So a lot of word of mouth, but we advertise as well. And we have a website, so you can go and look at us.
Right. And like you said, one of the best ways to get volunteers and to keep volunteers are somebody's made that personal ask.
Yes.
And especially, I liked what you said when the volunteer says to them, oh, you would be really good as a tutor.
Yes.
Because, you know, what a great place to get volunteers, but from book clubs and all the other civic organizations, but just that personal reach. Lots of times if we are excited about something, we will get our friends involved. So that's really nice.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about, you touched on it before a bit, but how does STAIR keep our students safe? What are the steps that they make sure that our students are safe when they're in that program?
So a couple things. First of all, anyone who participates in the STAIR program has to be background checked. There's a coordinator at every site who is there at every session to basically have eyes on the class. Tutors and students do not leave the classroom. Everybody is in the same space for the entire STAIR hour. We have emergency exit plans. We have a notebook at every site that says if a child is reporting something unusual
Right.
to their tutor, we know the numbers of child services. We know how to dial 911. For the schools where the parents come to pick up the children, they must always designate if they are not picking up, they need to give us the names and the phone numbers of other people they deem okay to come and get the children. And then we have them sign out the children to make sure, and we always look at the children and say, are you cool with this?
Right, right.
So we get their intake. We are at 3 community centers. We're at Eastport Community Center, Robinwood Community Center, and Stanton Center, but still affiliated with the school.
Right.
So for Eastport Community Center, we are affiliated with Eastport Elementary. For Robinwood, we're affiliated with Hillsmere, and we talk back and forth with them. In fact, they just had a session where the reading teacher sat for about 45 minutes with the tutors and just talked about techniques. We make sure that if a child is concerned, there's concern in some of the neighborhoods right now about walking home.
Right.
So we make sure that they're okay with that, or they are going into a homework room or after school care. So we
Okay.
don't just open the doors and
Right,
say,
right.
see you, bye.
Well, that's good to know as well. Also, do you have any stories that you'd like to share about some of your STAIR students or teachers, some of the different things that they've done together?
We have Bill Hathaway, who's on our board and is also the minister of First Presbyterian Church. So I want to be sure that I say STAIR is secular. We don't do religion in STAIR because there are people from all walks of life who come and tutor for us. But at any rate, we always celebrate Read Across America Day or Dr. Seuss
Right.
Day. And Bill got kind of gray hair, sorry Bill, and a beard. And he puts on this big, tall Cat in the hat.
Right.
And he very quietly will step into the media center or classroom, wherever we're meeting. And eventually the kids begin to see him and they go, is that Dr. Seuss? And he just smiles and they'll run up to him and say, are you Dr. Seuss? And he'll say, no, I'm a good friend of his though.
Oh, nice.
And so he'll visit with the kids, he sits and reads with them. So that's a great story. Our kids are kind. We just had a child who was working with his tutor, and she read a story called Rags, which is about a dog in World War I. And she's an animal lover, so it kind of is a sad story, but then gets happy. And she was really emotionally distressed. And her student, when she finished the book, walked over. So what we do is we record all the books that the kids read. And she was just, I mean, she had tears. Anyway, he reached over and he patted her arm and he said, "Don't worry, I'm going to write the name of the book in my list while you get yourself together."
Oh.
Then the last story is, every year we try to find a donor who will provide to us the Merriam-Webster DK Children's Dictionary, which is a great, big, huge thing.
Nice.
It's a fabulous dictionary. And we send it home as a home resource. So at Germantown, the little boy came over to the coordinator after the dictionaries had been introduced, and he said, "So I can take this dictionary home?" And she said, "Yes, it's got your name in it. It's yours to take home." And he was like, "Really? I get to take this dictionary home?" And she said, "Yes, absolutely. We're going to give you a bag. You're going to take the dictionary and go home, and you can share it with your family." So he goes running back to his tutor, and he goes, "I got a dictionary to take home!" And everybody, you know, so we try to give books to make home libraries, because a lot of the children do not have home libraries.
I was going to ask you about that. I know you mentioned the dictionary, but I thought there were books associated with STAIR, so I wondered how they come about and how the kids get the books.
Yes, we're very, very lucky. There are a lot of people who give us new or gently used books. I call them to make sure we're not giving something that's kind of weird. And we set out the books on a table. So at the end of STAIR, or maybe 10 minutes before the end of STAIR, we allow the kids to go up and choose books on their own. And I feel like that is so important, that somebody's not standing there saying, "You have to take this book."
Right, I do too.
They can choose. We also have funders who give us money to sponsor the kids, $10 gift certificate per child at the Scholastic Book Fairs.
Wow.
In fact, there are two happening today, one at Germantown and one at Annapolis Elementary. And the rule is no stuff, because you can get stuff at
Right.
Scholastic Book Fairs. But they can buy any book or set of books that they want, up to $10, and I'll normally hedge that a little if they go over a little because of tax.
Right.
Because I just want them to have books, because I think books are the most wonderful things in the world, and they can take you anywhere.
And it is so important, like you said, that they get to pick out their own.
Yes.
Whether it be at the STAIR, actually during the session,
Right.
or at Scholastic Book Fair, because some of these are students who aren't going to have the money to actually normally go to the book fair and just pick out books.
And buy.
So, you
Right.
know, that really empowers them to choose the books that they want to read. And just like you and I, we know if we're reading something that we picked out and we really like, we're going to be more interested than maybe if it's something for work or something that sometimes if you're in a book club and they say you have to read this book and you didn't really want to.
Right.
So, I mean, they're no different than we are.
Right. I agree with that. And at every STAIR site, we have a STAIR library, which is 150 to 300 books, depending
Wow.
upon how long the site has been running. And it's just a vast array of really, really hard books that the tutors have to read to the children, to really, really easy, actually leveled, Fontes and Pinnell leveled books, suitable for that child's level or reading level in school. Because, you know, I give huge credit to all of the amazing volunteer programs there are in Anne Arundel County and to the schools. I can't imagine what we would do without the teachers and the people who back them up, who work day after day to tirelessly educate kids, because educated kids is really important. But beyond anything, beyond STEM or STEAM or math or any of those things, if you can't read, this is your trajectory.
Well, that's exactly true, and it's why it's one of our superintendent's goals to make sure that every child is reading by 3rd grade. We know that like you said earlier, then you're starting to get into content that you need to read for every subject to be able to do the subject matter.
Yes.
So it's so important. It's something that we just can't leave children behind. We need to make sure. And as public schools, we do need people like you and STAIR and those programs to really support our students who need that extra push. They can learn to read just like everyone else can. They just need that little extra boost. And we are so grateful that STAIR is there doing that.
I love STAIR. It's my passion. And the kids are what make it that way, because first and second graders are exciting people. They have such great ideas. They're so fun, and they're serious, and they worry about things, and they're just great people. We need them, well.
Yes. Well, and getting them this education that they need, giving them the tools that they need, that's really all they need. So one of the things that I'd like you to share with our audience is how, if I'm interested and I'm hearing about this wonderful program, how can we get in touch with someone from STAIR if we want to be part of it? Okay. Or if I'm a principal and I might want it in my school.
Yes. A good way to do that is to call me, and I'm glad to give my phone number, 410-279-6480. Or you can email me, which is executive_director@stairannapolis.org. Or you can go on our website, which is www.stairannapolis.org. And make sure you get Annapolis, not New Orleans, because I'm sure they would love to have you tutor, but it's kind of a long commute from here.
Right, exactly. And we want you to all stay in Annapolis. We need everybody right here helping our students.
We do, and we are currently, there will be training sessions in January.
Oh, wonderful.
2-hour training session. You only need to come to one, and so that we can populate our spring semester. Our regular tutors are staying, but there have been some illnesses, and so.
And when you do one training in January, when's the other training done? What parts of the year?
So in January, I'll actually do, I think I have 6 on the book, 6 trainings. So there's different dates and times. The other heavy duty time is in late August and early September in getting ready for the startup of STAIR, because we normally start the last week in September. The shift in school starting date kind of changed things, so we're kind of working with that.
But that gives people opportunity
yes.
For these 2 different times of the year, depending on maybe when they're available or what works for them or what's coming up.
Absolutely.
Well, we really appreciate you being here today, Linda, sharing this wonderful program, and we truly appreciate everything that STAIR does for all of our students in Anne Arundel County.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate all you do for the kids of Anne Arundel County. They're so important.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us on Parent Connection. Until next time.
The new kindergarten, first, and second grade curriculums are designed to engage students in a variety of learning opportunities that involve cooperation and problem solving.
What do I do?
Student discourse and structured play develop social foundations through peer interaction. This learning block promotes curiosity, imaginative thought, and responsiveness. The primary focus is on the work of young children, play. The use of tools and materials allows students to share, take turns, and develop the confidence to make effective decisions in school and in life. Ask your child how they interacted with their friends today while engaging in structured play.
I'm Corporal Gamble with the Anne Arundel County Police. In regards to school safety, there are certain items that are not allowed in school. Weapons, anything that can be construed as a weapon, cannot be brought to school. Things like switchblades, knives, anything with a sharp point, fingernail files, guns of any sort cannot be brought to school. Also, illegal drugs, prescription drugs, unless they are issued by the health room, cannot be brought to school. Tobacco products of any sort, alcohol, anything of that nature is not something that you can have in school.